Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here. It's time for the Battle of Chancellorsville. This is actually now .96 is the version number for Ultimate General Civil War. They've done another minor upgrade, update. I'm not going to go into the details of that. I will list the details of that in the comments and the description section below. Basically, it's a bunch of what they call hot fixes, minor things, mostly changes to the AI and how it behaves. Fixing a couple glitches, that sort of thing. Nothing major, nothing that really should affect the gameplay in any major way. So nothing I really feel compelled to talk about. That said, we're going into Battle of Chancellorsville, and as you can see, I've got about a 5,000 man advantage, as well as an advantage of about 70 guns, which is actually very ahistorical, as this was a battle where the Confederates did take about 60,000 men, but I think the Union had somewhere in the neighborhood of 140,000 available to them at this battle. So before I get into the battle, though, I want to give a quick shout out to Chris Marciniak. And Chris, if I'm not pronouncing that name right, please let me know. He and I have had a chance to chat the last couple of days. He's my first official sponsor of this channel, and he's a neighbor. He lives just probably about 40 minutes down the road from me in Akron, Ohio. Chris is a native of Vermont originally, and he has requested that I name a brigade after a group of Vermont soldiers, the Paper Collar Brigade. So you will see them in action today as part of the attack on Chancellor's Crossing. So Chris, thank you so much for your support of this channel, and it's been great getting to know you a little bit. I look forward to more conversations with you down the road. So let's go ahead and dive in. So, couple of thoughts here as I get into the Battle of Chancellorsville. Number one is this. Under the old system, before the latest updates where casualties became a real factor, the goal has always been to try and hurry up, get your men up here, take Chancellor's Crossing in time to avoid the bloodbath of an extended battle. Now, with the new system where inflicting more casualties on the enemy is the better way to go, I'm a little torn. I'm thinking maybe it's better to kind of fight cautiously, inflict more casualties on the enemy, preserve my force, and let this thing drag out and maybe inflict more casualties by having it be a longer struggle. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go with the way I would normally do this, which is go ahead and just push, and try to take and hold Chancellor's Crossing on day one. And then what I'll do is I'll probably go back and revisit this battle and try it the other way and see how it affects things going forward. Now, I will get my entire force on day one. This is one of those battles where it's really important to micromanage quite a bit. You really want to use the roads, make sure your forces get into battle as quickly as possible, because I'm going to be constantly getting reinforcements. Every so often, I'll get another batch of these reinforcements. So we want to get them up and at the enemy as quickly as possible, which means making sure they use the road. I still continue to hope that at some point they will give you an option where you can just give the objective you want your men to go to and then have the option to tell them to use the fastest route, being the roads, of course. But that not being the case, we have to spend a lot of time drawing the way we want these guys to go. Now, I loaded up my first corps, or it's actually my second corps that's coming in first in this battle, with all of my bigger brigades. You'll notice a lot of my brigades only have 1,000, 1,500 men now because I just didn't have enough men to fully stock those brigades. So all the ones that were bigger, 2,000 to 2,500 men, are going to be arriving first on the battlefield, as well as my cavalry. My late arrivers will be my smaller brigades in my first corps. So you can see here we've got the Stonewall Brigade, Cobb's Legion, Orphan Brigade. These are some of my more elite units. Texas Brigade, Louisiana Tigers, the ones that have seen a lot of action so far. And the object here is going to be to push. Try to get up here because early in the battle, I'm going to have about a 50,000 to maybe an 18 to 20,000 man advantage. But then just as I get up into this area where I'll take Chancellor's Crossing, he's going to get a bunch of reinforcements, and I'll have to hold off that onslaught that comes. Now, of course, historically, this battle was the one that probably was the greatest performance by Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson. One of the great displays of generalship. one of the big rules in being a general is never divide your army in the face of a superior enemy. Well, Lee did it not once but twice during this campaign. Chancellorsville is basically fought in the same kind of general area as Fredericksburg, Chancellorsville, Wilderness, and Spotsylvania are all kind of in this same area of Virginia. And so the armies were still kind of parked around Fredericksburg facing each other. And both armies left part of their force back at Fredericksburg. So Lee divided his army by leaving men at Fredericksburg. He brings the majority of his force here, up near Chancellorsville. And then, while facing the enemy here, he sends the majority of that force under Stonewall Jackson in this long flanking maneuver down and around and up around and hitting the Union exposed right flank under Oliver Howard, the 11th Corps, over here in this brilliant flanking maneuver. It was like 14 miles. And it was in the follow-up to that, Jackson won such a stunning victory that he wanted to press the attack even at nightfall. And it was in the follow-up to that, as he was looking for an opportunity to press the attack, that he was out in the rain with some of his men and his staff. I think Jeb Stuart was among them as well, maybe A.P. Hill. And they were returning from scouting the enemy positions, and they were fired on by some North Carolina soldiers who thought they were Yankee cavalry. Jackson was hit in one arm and in one hand on the other arm. Survived that wound, survived the amputation of his arm, but ended up dying of pneumonia about a week and a half later. You know, obviously, it was a great blow to Confederacy. One has to wonder what would have happened at Gettysburg, for example, if Stonewall Jackson had still been in command of his corps, as opposed to General Ewell, who, in his first role as a corps commander, behaved very cautiously to the frustration of some of his subordinates. Okay, so we're about to make contact here. I'm going to get some of these units up here a little faster. Just so they can help these other guys. I want to catch Green out in the open before he gets over there to help out. And I also want to make sure I turn off the run function as soon as I've got him into position, so these guys don't get exhausted when I continue to move them later. Oh, Orphan Brigade, where are you going, buddy? Alright, here comes our first reinforcements. Didn't take long. Once they all get onto the map, I'll go ahead and... No. There we go. Alright, we'll get over here and start ordering these guys where we want them to go. A lot of micromanaging that has to happen during this battle just to make sure that you're getting everybody where you want them as quickly as possible. Getting my first batches of artillery going here too. And you have to keep an eye on the mini-map a lot on this too, just to make sure that you aren't forgetting anybody along the way. We're going to run into his artillery up here, so I want to be cautious. Just make sure everybody's moving. These guys are not moving the way they should be. Hey, there's Chris. There's your unit, the Paper Collar Brigade, making their appearance. I've got to press this attack as quickly as I can and get up where I need to be. I'll be getting my next batch of reinforcements before long here. Alright. Here comes the balance of the 2nd Corps, which I think is just this skirmisher unit. Make sure everybody's moving. Let's get these supplies up here too. This is where I got to be cautious that I don't get too far out in front of the rest of the force. He's got all this artillery sitting right there. I'm going to hang on to my cavalry, just waiting for an opportunity to make use of them. If I don't see any other infantry up here, I'll probably send the cavalry in there to deal with these couple of artillery brigades. And here comes some more. Alright, so let's pause for just a second here. Come on, pause. There we go. Continue to get these guys moving. Because what's going to happen is this timer's going to run out in 27 minutes, and some of these units, for some reason, it's going to stop them dead in their tracks. Alright. I have windowed mode turned off. I'm not really sure why that's continuing to happen. Alright, we'll pause again. This is the one thing I don't like about this. One of the few things I don't like about this game is having to do these individual orders drawn up like this. Okay. Don't break, Burbank. Hang out there long enough for my cavalry to come in and get you. Alright, now we can drive off this artillery. Alright, just pull the cavalry back before it's too late. Alright, we just lit Burbank up pretty good. Alright, back down here. You can obviously see which ones are not following the orders. And here comes some more reinforcements. So lots of micromanaging to be done here. Okay, and I think I still got a few more that are going to be appearing there, so I'll have to go down and deal with them after. I should probably come up and resupply folks. Gonna get my first artillery into the fight finally. Alright, let's see who's still not giving orders. Alright, we're on to the next part of the battle. Just make sure everybody's still moving. Looks like these guys might not be. Same over here. Who's not moving? You're not. And you're not. And Crocker's not. Unfortunately, cannot slow down. Have to keep pushing this so that I'm in a good position by the time his reinforcements arrive. Alright, let's pause for a second again just to check and make sure everybody's still moving. It's kind of a constant, unfortunate annoyance of this battle that you have to constantly check on these guys because they have so far to go. Whereas his guys just come right in to reinforce right at the battle, the point of battle. Alright, I think everybody's good there. Let's check these guys. Now this is the point at which we need to win this battle, because in the next hour and 19 minutes he's going to be getting a ton of reinforcements. And I have to be holding Chancellor's Crossing at the end of this. Right now I've got him 3-1, but he'll basically have even odds here in the next hour. So I have to hold this, and I have to be holding it when I hit finish. Now what happens is if I take it and that timer starts to tick down, and this mission time runs out, and then he even temporarily takes it back, it automatically will trigger the next day of the battle. So once I take it and that mission time runs out, I have to hold it and keep holding it. I can't let it go even for a minute. And I've got to press and press hard here. I want to get up into these woods. I gotta be careful with this cavalry here. I don't want to go diving into one of his brigades of infantry. Unless I have two and I can get one isolated like right there. I want to try and take out some more of these guns if I can. Oh, Cobb's Legion's going to get lit up here. Hold on. You're all out there by yourself, dude. Let's make sure everybody's still moving. I gotta push these guys out of the fortifications, even if it means that these units break, because I've got more coming. Run, 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 run. Make sure everybody else is still moving. I'm going to pause for just a second to, again, make sure I'm reissuing these orders and that nobody is about to stop. Because I'm going to need every one of these units up there to hold this for the next 55 minutes. Because right now, it's a piece of cake. You can see, just looking at the... he's lost 5,000 men. He's down to just 16,000. He's only got 13 guns left. But I've got 50,000 men, but he's very much going to even the odds here in the next few minutes. So the more I can push ahead and get in the stronger defensive position, the better off I'll be. And I knew these guys would break when I pushed that, but I was just trying to dislodge Maher and, is that Caldwell, from those positions. Paper Collar Brigade, about to see your first action here. I just need to keep these guys even here. I don't want any units getting way out in front and getting lit up unnecessarily. Alright, is everybody still coming? Need to get Iverson up here. Poor guys are all exhausted because they've had to march so far. Alright, here comes his first reinforcements. I do have a unit that's back there that stopped. Alright. Okay, here we go. Now the fun begins. Get Maher out of there. That's the Irish Brigade. Oh, Stonewall. Turn around, dude. Alright, so I've got to hold this for an hour and 6 minutes. Once the mission timer ticks down in 36 minutes, I can't give it up even for a minute, or we go to day 2. Harlan, I want you to just hang tight where you are. Just need to have a solid defensive line here. Get some more artillery up. He's coming in from this side. This must be Howard's corps coming in. Yeah, because there's General Howard himself. I'm going to send my cavalry over here just to see if maybe I can distract some of his infantry. And let's move up some of these guns. Well, it seems to have worked. I pulled Schimmelpfennig off. Although I may pay for that. But it bought me some time. Oh, Douglas, be careful, dude. Alright, I think I'm solid here. Let's get Weed over this way. Turn the Texas Brigade around. This is where most of the casualties in this battle are going to happen. The main thing is I just can't lose this objective after this mission timer runs down. I'll be cautious here with the Orphan Brigade. In fact, I'm going to drop them back so they don't get hit on the flank like Douglas is right now. Drop him back just a hair. He's going to be overlapping the Paper Collar Brigade a little bit, who is then also going to get overlapped. They're holding their own, though. About 400 casualties on either side. The good news here is that I'm a couple of brigades deep everywhere along the line. I just got to make sure to plug the hole if it happens. But I think I'm in good shape. I don't think he's going to have enough to stop me. So right now, I've got him by about 8,000, well, 7,000, 6,300 men. He's lost 8,000. I've lost about 5,500. But it's far from over. Let's get McGowan up here on the flank and see if we can turn Ayers back. Got some more 10-pounders coming up. Lots of artillery in the action. Alright, timer's up. That means I gotta hold it for the next 28 minutes without even a temporary change in possession. I just don't see him having the manpower to stop me. I'm just a little bit overlapped. I'm not crazy about how this is working out, but Barlow's trying to get into these defensive positions there. Alright, these are both relatively new cavalry units, so I'm not real concerned about preserving them. So I'll take my chances and throw him in here to try and disrupt his artillery a little bit. Alright, Paper Collar Brigade broke. Chris, don't let that reflect poorly on yourself. I had them in a difficult position where they were. They were kind of overlapped and sticking out there a little bit. Alright, let's pull these guys back before they get messed up. Oh, Ziegler, not a good place to be, buddy. That's what happened at Paper Collar Brigade. Oh, same thing with these guys. Why is that battery up there? I probably gave those orders and just place where I ordered them was probably filled with people, so they probably shifted forward. Here he comes. He's going to throw everything he's got because there's 11 minutes left, and if he can take it for even a second in those 11 minutes, he can make this battle continue. So I can't let him have it for even a moment. Yeah, my artillery's not going to let that happen. I just got a ton of artillery in here. There's no way he takes it. Not even for a moment. 7 minutes I got to hang on for. Just 7 more minutes. Don't get pulled out there, Crocker. All right. I think we're solid. I think this is going to be an easy victory at Chancellorsville. 3 minutes to go. There it is. Okay, couldn't ask for much better, really. All right, so I ended up with only 7,100 casualties. He almost lost 12,000. 61 guns. Not much to say about it, really. I mean, that's just the way it went. Captured 7 10-pounders, 5 Napoleons. Grabbed a bunch more 1855s. Some various other weapons. Grabbed a couple 10-pound Parrots. So the big question, of course, now is where do things stand as we look toward Gettysburg? How many reinforcements is he going to get? Because he only lost 11,000 men. Oh, that's right. We got to do Battle of Salem Church. This is a relatively easy one. I'm not too worried about this. And you can't go back to your camp, so I basically just got to come in with this and figure out which 10 brigades I'll use for this fight. But I should be in good shape regardless, just because of the manpower I have. But we'll figure out how best to do that. We'll come back with that, and then we'll do Salem Church and immediately follow up and kind of look at the lay of the land, look how things are going. But I am probably going to revisit the Battle of Chancellorsville just to draw it out more and inflict heavier casualties on the Union and see how that affects the battles going forward. But as always, I welcome any and all input you have, your comments, your questions, your observations. Please keep those coming. As I've always said, I read every single one of those, even if I don't always respond. Please know that they are appreciated and they are most welcome. If you would hit that thumbs up, I'd greatly appreciate it. If you haven't already, check out the Patreon page, see if that's something you might consider doing. And I look forward to your response moving forward. We'll talk to you again soon. Have a great weekend, everybody.